There. I'm going to read another excerpt from Sheep Smarts, and this is taken outside on location at Corsicana Ranch. Okay, and let's see, a little background on this little section. It's called Lee. It's in a chapter called Other Siblings. And this one is about his little brother Lee. And he's actually named after my late uncle, who passed away when he was about almost 2 years old, which was about 10 years before I was born. Anyways, even though Abel's brother Lee looks nothing like my uncle. Okay, here goes. My brother Lee was born in the late autumn when I was still 15 and May was still 11. Because I had grown bigger and stronger since Mom gave birth to her previous baby, Awan, I could now help Mom move and adjust into different positions for giving birth. It still wasn't easy. In fact, I was more sore after that than I was from any time I had play wrestled with Cain in the past. At some point, I wondered if Mom was trying to hurt me, just to reduce some of her own pain. When Mom screamed during birth pangs, she would squeeze me tighter, causing me to scream with her. Well, I had always wanted to help Mom with her part of the curse, and in some way that's what I was doing, sharing in her pain. But when the struggle ended and Dad let me hold my new baby brother, Mom and I were both crying tears of joy as we smiled at him. It was weird, since as happy as I was to meet another sibling, I had some night terrors within the next several months. May usually heard me wake up screaming from nightmares that I couldn't remember. The nightmares I could remember usually involve Mom wrestling me or Dad breaking us up. Or others involve Mom turning into a giant round boulder and rolling on top of me to crush me. Ugh. Indiana Jones. Da, 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 da. As the weather cooled, it started hurting my left side when I coughed. And it also hurt my side whenever I needed to lift a lamb or one of my younger siblings, even if I was just playing with them. May felt around my rib cage through my shirt. I would have taken it off, but it was colder outside that day as winter started to arrive. May discovered that I had probably cracked a rib while helping Mom deliver Lee. She said I should probably take it easy as possible for a few weeks. She even suggested that I wrap her long scarf around the upper part of my waist and lower chest area as a way to keep me from straining the injured rib. She helped wrap it, even over my clothes at the time, saying that I could change it out later. We wanted it tight, but not so tight that I couldn't breathe. It was a lot like when I twisted my ankle at age 10. She took care of me. She seemed to enjoy doting on me again. Mom felt bad when May and I told her that she had done that to me. "Oh, Abel, I'm so sorry. I knew you were big and strong enough to move me, but I didn't think about the fact that I could still hurt you." I smiled. "It's all right, Mom. You go through this with every child you bring into the world. I feel a little closer to you and maybe more understanding of your curse because of this experience. If you can heal after each birth and go on to the next one for 11 children, I'm sure I can heal too. Besides, I'm actually impressed by your strength that you could do that to me. We shared a laugh for a few moments until the laughter actually started hurting my left side again. May rubbed my left shoulder and Mom rubbed my back with her left arm. Mom remarked, "Will, do you think it was only your dad who gave you your strength or your resilient spirit? Or your positive attitude? You're gonna get through this, Abel, my son." She moved some of my hair aside and kissed my right temple. "Thanks, Mom," I sighed as I rested my head on her left shoulder. May lightly leaned onto my left shoulder, wrapping her right arm around my back at waist level. "And I want to hug you too, Bubba, but I'm trying to be careful not to hurt you more than you're already hurting." With a sideways glance at her as I moved my left arm around her shoulders, I sighed. "I know. Thanks, May. You're helping me a lot more than you know." The bundle snuggled against Mom's right side started to stir. Mom glanced at the bundle, moving some of the blanket aside until his face was visible. "Oh, look who's awake." She adjusted him so that May and I could see him. "Look, Lee, it's your big brother Abel and your big sister May." He blinked at us as we smiled and waved at him. "Hi, Lee." "Would you like to hold him?" Mom asked me. "Or will that hurt you?" I shrugged. "Well, I think I'll be all right if he just sits or lays in my lap. I mean, he's still small enough." He made some cooing sounds as Mom moved him into my lap. Once he was situated, he even sneezed. He had a precious little sneeze. "Bless you." May moved her left hand so that her fingers stroked his hair next to his right ear. "You're so tiny. Please don't get sick." Lee's beautiful almond-shaped eyes blinked as he looked over at May as well as at me. There was just something about his dark hair and his olive-toned skin complexion. But he looked like how I remembered May as a baby. At the time, I wasn't planning my future with May yet, but I could see her as my wife someday, and even as a mom to my children someday after that. I could imagine at least one of our children might look like Lee. I chuckled through some mild pain in my left side. "Wow, Lee is kind of like May as a baby, or Melanie." Mom smiled. "His hair texture even reminds me of you as a baby, Abel. Only Lee's hair is darker." May giggled as she stroked Lee's hair some more. "So this is what baby Abel's hair was like when he was a baby. Soft, straight, and downy fuzzy." "It sure was." Mom stroked her fingers through my hair again. "Sometimes I can't believe that was almost 16 years ago. He's so tall now, almost as tall as me. And he even has a small mustache." May glanced at my face to confirm Mom's observation. "He kind of does have a mustache. It's still smaller than Kane's mustache, and definitely smaller than Dad's mustache, but I see it too." For some reason, I couldn't help but feel a little bit self-conscious about the fact that I was growing up. I moved my hand over my lip, but tried to be as discreet about it as I could be. I might have even been blushing a little. From the right side of my lap, my baby brother made a sound that could have been a bit of a baby giggle. I gasped as I looked at him. "Did you just laugh, Lee? Do you think that's funny?" I covered and quickly uncovered my eyes, nose, and mouth for him a few times. Lee was cackling. At least it took the attention off of my facial hair, but it still hurt my side as it contagiously made us laugh to watch a baby laugh. But the pain was worth it. On some days, like the time we told Mom about my cracked rib, I wore May's scarf under my clothes since it felt tender as soon as I woke up, and I knew that I needed to wear the scarf bandage in order to function that day. Other days, I wasn't hurting until after I got dressed, so I would wear it over my clothes. Those times were good reminders for younger siblings to be more gentle when playing with me. It was precious to see them show such concern for my well-being. Thankfully, I only needed to wear it for about 3 or 4 weeks. After that, I gave it back to May to wear as a scarf once she washed it. She might have worn it a few times in the past year with me, before rolling it up to put in her pack and forgetting about it until summer, when we used it as her first halter top bra prototype. As Lee got bigger, he would get most excited when he made discoveries. He became the inventor in our family. He liked to build and design machines and things to try to simplify our work and our daily lives. He sometimes worked with art in designing things, drawing them out in intricate plans before building them. Lee had the same olive-tone skin complexion that May had, and he also had raven black hair like May, Bo, and Melanie. His hair was also straight and fine in its texture, similar to mine. He also had almond-shaped eyes, which came in handy for shielding out the sun when he worked outside for prolonged periods of time. His eyes were also a beautiful olive green color. As an inventor who spent plenty of time making stuff, he mostly worked with the artisans community. But sometimes he could help Cain and Bo in the fields, and he figured out a way to make straw hats to shade his face from the sun. This was also helpful to our other siblings with lighter skin complexion. Many of his children went on to make discoveries in fields such as engineering, astronomy, navigation, geology, architecture, as well as agriculture. One of his other favorite areas of study was in the field of flight and aerodynamics, as he studied birds. He even built a few kites and experimented with flying them while in the pasture with me. It was kind of relaxing, and he sometimes let May and I make and fly different kinds of kites with him, so he could observe their different flight patterns. Sometimes Lee even had a detective side. Anytime we would discover an animal carcass in the field or in the pasture, Lee liked to examine it to try to find out what killed the animal, approximate its time of death, determine whether it tried to defend itself or if it was completely surprised by the attack. He could also look at footprints and determine whether an animal attacker was acting alone, like in the case of many cat-like predators, or if the attacker had accomplices, like in the case of a pack of wolves or wild dog-like predators.